Hey guys, this week's tip of the week, I'm out at Mote Aquaculture Park. Dr. Kevin Main is with me. Doc, tell me what it is that goes on out here at Mote Marine Laboratories and what you guys are doing.
This is the location of the laboratory where we are working on developing aquaculture technologies for marine fish and freshwater fishes using sustainable recirculating aquaculture technologies. And we're working with a whole host of different marine fishes, but one of the main ones that we're working with is snook.
I know you guys do a lot of snook work. Today we fished with Captain Scott Moore, and Scott was telling us about a bunch of fish that you released. How many fish did you release into the Sarasota estuary?
Well, over the years, we've released over 50,000 fish into the Sarasota Bay estuary. This year, we have a target to get up in the 30,000 range, which is a huge leap from what we've been able to do in the past.
Inside the laboratory are a number of breeding rooms containing wild-caught fish that are being conditioned to spawn in captivity, like the common snook.
In this room, we simulate the spawning conditions that the fish see in nature. People had been working on trying to mature and spawn these fish for almost 30 years. And in 2006, not this group, but another population, spawned for the first time in captivity. And we did it by being able to do, I'm really convinced it's three major things. One is that we were able to control temperature. So this room is connected, the tanks are to a heater chiller unit, and I can make it the optimal temperature for spawning any time of the year. And on top of that, we can make it happen twice a year. So, and then the second cue is the light. Some people had tried light and temperature, even used natural light and temperature, but the problem was they weren't working in really large tanks with large numbers of fish. I got a 20-foot tank with 6 foot of water depth in here. And so I can put a population, I can have up to 50 fish in a tank like this. We'll set them up in here with a sex ratio. That's another thing we learned, 2 to 1, males to females. So you get the right number of fish, the right water conditions, the right water depth, and they do mature in the lab. The goal of this work is to produce fish and to use them as a tool to determine the best way to increase the populations in the bay.
Once the fish have spawned, the eggs float into an egg collector and are placed in a special hatching tank, followed by a progression of other tanks as they grow.
The baby snook are in these tanks. These are 23-day-old snook. And in 2 weeks, we will, for the first time, size, grade, and count all these fish. And that's no small job. At that point, they'll be looking like a little fish.
Okay.
So this is this group, and then over here, these fish are 2.5 months old.
Really cool.
The tank doesn't normally look like this, but he's turned the air off so that you can be able to shoot the fish. Normally what I'm doing is to reduce cannibalism. I'll have these air curtains throughout the tank so that they can't see each other as well.
Okay.
And so we'll have a lot of aeration going in here.
So Doc, let me ask you, is there anything, through the years of research here, especially with, as it pertains to snook, is there anything that's happened that surprises you?
With snook, there isn't a day that goes by that they don't surprise me.
Really?
Every time that you go to apply essentially what I would call standard technology that we've developed for other fish, we have to change it for snook.
Really?
And one of the things that is a big challenge for us is this cannibalism issue. Because they are carnivores, they're out there hunting prey fish.
Sure.
Techniques that we would normally use to help reduce cannibalism don't work for snook. A traditional way to reduce cannibalism in fish populations is to put a current in the tank so that the fish will spend more time swimming and less time picking on each other. And with these fish, what happens is if you add that current to the tank, because of where they live and their natural habitat, I've learned this now over the years, they will develop a spinal deformity. And so we have to come up with new tricky ways to keep them from eating each other. So it is it's a challenge, and over the years we've looked at different factors, and it's funny how we happened upon that one because it was something that I was sure was not going to be the cause, and wouldn't you know it, snook, they tricked me again.
It's one of the greatest fish we have here in Florida waters.
Yep, I think that's why we call them the wily snook, right? Is that-
Absolutely, absolutely.
They're always pulling a fast one on
Yeah,
us.
they do that to the fishermen too.